Tech journalists, media outlets, influencers, and loads of other people are being paid to say that this tech product, whatever it is a breakthrough. And then there is the second wave of creators realizing, wait, this is becoming popular. This can generate clicks and views. Let's write, talk, make videos about it with a strong title that people can argue about. And now the regular folks, users, are hit by a tsunami of information about a product they shouldn't even care about. And they think, maybe I should care. But then the price of the product is unveiled and the answer to the question, should I care, becomes obvious. Having said that, dear one person that is still here, this is the OnePlus Open. It's called Open because you can open it and then close it and repeat this process 1 million times. Claims OnePlus. To put this 1 million folds in a perspective, the main competitor of this phone, the Z Fold 5 from Samsung, is supposed to survive 200,000 folds. So when it comes only to this, opening and closing the phone, the OnePlus Open is, in theory, 5 times more durable than the Z Fold 5. And there were Z Fold 1, 2, 3, 4 before this phone. And there was no OnePlus One before this. This is the first, and it's supposed to survive 1 million folds. And this is a bold statement. And how many years is that, knowing that the smaller outside screen is fully functional? It's not a flip phone you have to open anytime you want to write a text, scroll Instagram, or watch a TikTok video. You open the Open to consume something of a greater importance. Like this video, for example. The screen is bigger on the Open, but the aspect ratio seems to work in Samsung's favor, at least when it comes to watching videos. So it feels like you don't need the bigger screen unless you want the black bars to be wider. How are the speakers, by the way? This is me talking to you from the OnePlus. And this is me talking to you from the Z Fold 5. I've heard things about the mic quality on this phone, but if everything else was better on the Z Fold 5, would you buy the OnePlus Open only for the mic quality? Let's talk photos and videos. Is the camera's performance as impressive as the size of this bump? It's hard to tell. It's even harder to tell from a YouTube video. What you're seeing on the screen now might have looked different before I uploaded it to YouTube. What really stands out is the 3x zoom lens on the OnePlus. It's bright and sharp and outperforms the Z Fold 5 3x zoom. Unfortunately, the phone struggles a bit with video stabilization. It's not a major issue, but the footage is shaky. Samsung's videos, on the other hand, are wobbly, so it's not an obvious choice between these two. And even though many reviewers use many different phrases to describe OnePlus's photo and video capabilities, I think we can all agree this is not the best camera setup on the market. I mean, theoretically, hardware-wise, maybe. But when it comes to the effects, it's not. And it shouldn't be a surprise because it's a tradition already, a short one, but still a tradition. That a camera setup on a foldable phone performs a bit worse than a camera setup on a non-foldable flagship. Hardware-wise, this phone is great. Chipset, RAM, memory. Both screens look great. The hinge works fine, although I like Samsung's hinge a bit better. It gives you a constant resistance and feels more firm. Whereas this thing operates in a more satisfying way, but it gravitates towards the open position way earlier than the Samsung mechanism. The front screen on the Open is significantly wider, but the phone is thinner, and this combination should make it feel better in the hand, but for me, it's quite the opposite. But this is a very individual thing, and probably the wider the front screen, the better. Another individual thing is the crease. I've seen so many foldable phones, and almost every company claims that their crease is almost invisible. But I could see it every time. But once you start using the phone, it's gone. You just stop noticing it. And there are different types of creases. One that is bigger, and this is typical for Samsung phones, and OnePlus, we're gonna get to the naming later, is probably gonna generate two smaller next to each other and some bumps. It's really hard to notice, but there is no creaseless phone on the market. Software. I feel it's getting better. It has to, because Google, the company that's behind Android OS, has its phone on the market, and it's okay if you haven't heard about it. But it's probably one of the major reasons that more and more apps are optimized for foldables, and the system itself is quite smooth. In the past, using a foldable gave you the beta OS user vibes. Now it's kind of boring. What else is boring? If I worked for OnePlus's PR department, I would say wireless charging is. That's why we didn't put it in our phone. But here's a red cable in the box and a charger. Wired charging is fast and cool. That's the opposite of your working lamp from IKEA with wireless charging. Talking about old things no one uses. The Open has an IR remote. It is a thing of the past, but who doesn't want to take control over a TV in a bar from time to time? I read an article in Forbes titled, "Oppo and OnePlus new foldable phone is the best." OnePlus is Oppo's sub-brand, both are Chinese obviously, and this phone is called Oppo N3 in China. The author of the article claims that this is the best foldable phone in the market. It has great cameras, but for a foldable, it's a tongue twister, isn't it? It has great cameras for a foldable. It has great screens for a foldable. It's splash resistant, and this is nothing special for a foldable, because Samsung went bananas and made their phones water resistant, which is crazy. The price is great for a foldable. It should be folded in half. And the size of the inside screen is great for a foldable. This is not the size of a tablet, and I'm ignorant enough to say I don't know what tablets are for, except for making the kids shut up. So when someone tries to convince me that this is a phone and a tablet in one, my question is, who wants to spend that much money on an okay phone and a mediocre tablet in one? If you can afford this phone, you can afford a phone, a tablet, and a house in LA. So, if I were to answer the question from this video's title, will you ever buy a foldable phone? I would have to give you the answer you already know. You'll start thinking about it after Apple releases one.